I'm so excited for today's live Q&A session, all about LinkedIn. This is for those of you who have participated in the LinkedIn Jumpstart Challenge. Now, today's session is a Q&A session, so make sure to drop your questions below. We'll start with answering some questions. I do want to start off with kind of an overall theme that I saw with some of the posts as we were going through the challenge. So I'm going to start with that theme. Then we're going to go into our questions. I've got a little bit of a section on, I really want to share the Savvy Social School because we are so much fun in there, and it is a blast, and I really want to talk about that, and then we'll get into the prizes as well. You guys know I love handing out prizes. Awesome. Okay. So first kind of theme that I noticed and trend that I noticed is that we're having this idea of marketing and this idea of networking and this idea of growing our audience. We're kind of stuck on a handful of people that we've identified as the people, okay? So has anybody watched the show You? I'm watching this show on Netflix right now. Type it like You in the comment if you're watching this, with the Joe guy, and he's like stalking this girl, and it's super intense. Have you guys seen this show on Netflix? I wasn't into it at first, but now I just started season 2, and it's pretty intense. So I saw some parallels. If you guys know what I'm talking about, just let me know. Otherwise, maybe I should tell a little bit about the show. So there's this guy named Joe who's kind of stalking this girl. He's decided that she's the one and that she's the perfect girl for him. And he kind of like creates these situations so that he has to protect her, and all these crazy things happen. Anyways, I see a parallel in the approach that we're taking to social media right now, along with the show You. And I use the analogy of dating all the time. You guys who've been hanging out with me for a while, you know that I use this analogy of dating. And what happens when we frame it in the mindset of dating is that we're looking at our people. We see someone on LinkedIn and we go, that person is amazing. I know they'd love working with me. I know that we can have a great partnership. And so we go after them quite aggressively. We go after that person thinking that they're the one person whom we need to connect with on LinkedIn. When in reality, connecting with people on LinkedIn is a lot like dating. So if you are on the prowl, if you're on the hunt, if you're looking for a date, if you see someone in a coffee shop and you go, that's my person, you could absolutely run up to them, chase after them, pounce on them, and go, you're my person, this is it, I'm done, I don't have to look forever. But most people think that's a bit aggressive. Instead, what you do is you go on a date. If it works out, you go on a second date. If it works out, you go on a third date. Maybe you get intimate. Maybe you meet their parents. Then maybe you go on a trip together, right? So you've got all of these levels to dating, and it's the same way with LinkedIn. Just because you send someone a connection request on LinkedIn doesn't mean they're going to say yes. People don't have to say yes to you asking them out on a date, okay? It depends on where they are. It's not a reflection on you. It depends on where they are in their journey. They may not need this just yet, okay? So if you are looking at these connections and you're trying to build them up and you're wondering, is this the person for me? I want you to broaden your thinking a little bit and say, hey, let's just take this one step. Let's just see if they even want to exchange phone numbers at this point. Because you're complete strangers in most cases on LinkedIn, and they may not know you. And unfortunately, there's a lot of like sales and marketing people before us who have burned bridges a little bit, some people who are spammy. I gave this example on the podcast recently, but I had someone from like Minnesota reach out to me and say, hey, do you want to put solar panels on your house? I'm like, I'm not in Minnesota. I'm literally in another country. So it seemed like they didn't get it. They didn't get me. They didn't even know. It was just like a massed spammed message. And there's a lot of people doing that strategy on LinkedIn. We don't want to be confused with those people, and we want to think of this as more of an opportunity to network and connect and date our potential connections. So we don't want to start off start off with like stalking them and then bumping into them and then all of this craziness. Like, just be a human, connecting with another human, and see where it goes, okay? Sometimes it doesn't go anywhere. Actually, most times it doesn't go anywhere. Most people only have one person that they find, right? So most of the other people that they interact with in any given day, it's not going to work out. So think about that strategy when it comes to LinkedIn, is that most of the people that you interact with in any given day, it's not going to turn into business for you tomorrow, okay? It could in the future, but most of the people you connect with on LinkedIn is probably just going to be a connection. Awesome. All right, Natalie, I see your question popped in here. Great. And Natalie's saying she loves this analogy. Thanks, Natalie. Very, very, I think, apt analogy if you think about it with dating. For those of you just joining in live, welcome. Go ahead and pop your questions in the chat box. We're going to dive into those questions right now. I just wanted to give that analogy of dating because Danny actually left a comment earlier this week that I thought was really great. Danny said, your direct message formula reminds me so much of the principles from How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like, become genuinely interested in others. Talk in terms of other person's interests. Make that person feel important, etc. I haven't read the book yet, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Has anyone else read that book? It's on the list of books to read, but I feel like that's really great, Danny, insight there on this is relationship building. Yes, we have products we're selling, or services we're selling, or podcasts we need listeners for, but at the end of the day, we're humans interacting with other humans, okay? Excuse me, I'm dealing with some allergies. As you guys know, I have some allergy issues, and it, like, stuffs me up, but here we are. Okay, cool. First question of the day comes in from Stephanie. Stephanie asks, do you have any tips for product-based businesses in terms of connecting and posting? Okay, great question, Stephanie. And yes, so if you are a product-based business, it depends on your niche or your parallel. So there's a few things I recommend when we're looking at product-based businesses. The first thing is look for collaborators. So if you have a product-based business and you're really looking for more ways to get people to purchase your products, try to get in front of other audiences. So I've used this example in the past. I'm going to use it again. If you create and design unique yoga mats, let's say you're an artist and you've got these yoga mats that you've designed, they've got beautiful patterns on them, and you really need people who practice yoga to purchase your yoga mats. If you're on LinkedIn, though, you may want to look for yoga teachers. You may want to look for meditation studios. You may want to look for perhaps a local boutique owner. You may want to look for these people who would help you get to the right people. So it's almost like a step in between your end goal. So Stephanie, I challenge you to think about what that looks like for your business. I'll use one other example here just to kind of switch it up a little bit. Let's say you sell microphones and you want to sell them to podcasters. So you could start looking for podcasters on LinkedIn, but one thing I would suggest for you to look at is maybe look at conferences that podcasters attend and see how you can participate with those conference leaders. Maybe you can look at someone who teaches people how to podcast, because you want to be in front of their audience that they've already worked to build that up. And so that may be an easier transition for you than trying to just start off connecting with podcasters. Great question, Stephanie. Thanks for submitting it. For those of you joining in, or if you're watching the replay, go ahead and drop your comment in the chat. I'm moving on to the next one here from Kenye. Kenye is asking, are business profiles on LinkedIn less relevant than your personal LinkedIn page? And then she asked a few follow-up questions. I'm going to start with that, Kenye. So in this challenge, it's a 5-day challenge. We only have a short amount of time. This challenge is actually just 5% of what I teach in our full LinkedIn course in the Savvy Social School. So for the purposes of this challenge, and as an individual, I do recommend looking at LinkedIn as yourself, so as an individual. And the reason that I suggest that is that as an individual on LinkedIn, you can actually connect with other individuals. You can create a page on LinkedIn as well, and I do recommend that if you have a business to have a page. It's a really professional way to put yourself out there. But as a business page on LinkedIn, you can't connect with an individual. There's no way that you can send an individual a message, or there's no way you can send them a connection request. There's no way you can invite them to follow you on LinkedIn. So it's very one way. People have to discover your page on LinkedIn and then choose to follow you. That's how you build followers on LinkedIn. Organically. I'm not talking about paid metrics, okay? So when it comes to growth on LinkedIn and the stage that a lot of us are at, we're not ready to invest in a LinkedIn ad strategy, and we really just need a consistent way to connect with the right people. The personal page is the way to go for that, rather than the business page, okay? So personal page is the way to go rather than the business page. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just going to take a little tissue and wipe my nose. I know this isn't like super PC, but I have a little bit of an allergy issue. All right, cool. Personal page rather than LinkedIn page. And I see some more questions coming in from Holly and Danielle. Thanks for joining us live today. We'll get to your questions shortly. Danielle's question here is about actually what we're covering right now, which is business and personal. So Danielle, I do recommend having a business page. It's more of like a landing page type of situation, which is what Kenyai asked here as well. Okay, so her follow-up questions are, what's the purpose of the business page and do you really need one? And I again see this as more of a landing page and more of a way to showcase your business, especially if you plan on growing it out. So where we see the best bang for your buck on LinkedIn, if you're starting to kind of use that page as a way to grow your business, is that I want you to think of it as a way to showcase your expertise, especially if you have team members. There's a way to show that there's a team behind this. And I find it really great as you grow to like showcase your company culture. If you are a solopreneur, a freelancer, it's just you may not need a business page, and I wouldn't worry too much about it at this stage. You can always add that on later, okay? I wouldn't spend time like setting it up if you don't see that as a direction you're going. Okay, Kenyai's follow-up question also asks more about the personal LinkedIn page, and she's saying, it's a possible conflict of interest if she wants to keep her options open for working full-time in-house in a corporate company in the same industry. So Kenyai is a brand designer. She has her own business. She's constantly building out her clientele. However, she is open to going back to corporate America full-time or part-time if the right job comes along. Kenyai, what I would suggest for this is still continue to write your summary from the perspective of a business owner. And the reason being is that if you're looking for a part-time or full-time corporate position, they'll want to see that you're actively fine-tuning your tools, your skills, you're showing up in the world, and that helps for any of those like resume gaps that we see, like time off and anything like that. It's not like you're relaxing, you're actively working on building your business, and I actually think it would build credibility into those potential part-time and full-time opportunities. Now, if you're ready to make that switch now, I would put that languaging on your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so if you're ready to make that switch now, and you're not just saying if the opportunity comes along, then I would put that information on your profile, still craft it based on what you've done, really emphasize why people choose to work with you, your experience with clients, because all of those things are what corporate clients are looking for. Okay, so I think that could really outline that for you. And I'll give an example, actually. One of my clients just hired an in-house creative director, and she had her own business before, but that didn't matter. They're really looking for someone who could show up and actually be very self-driven. And so her showcasing her business on her LinkedIn, actually I think for her it was her resume, but LinkedIn profile, really emphasized that she could do it, okay? Cool. Awesome. Awesome. For those of you joining in, please drop your questions below. We're going through our list of questions for LinkedIn Challenge. Up next, we're going to talk about the Savvy Social School, and then we are going to give away prizes at the end of today's session. Okay, Natalie is asking, Natalie, I think I saw you're in the chat. Yes, Natalie. I have a question that you asked earlier, so I'll cover both of your questions here. Okay, so Natalie says that she had the goal of having a business when it comes to her podcast. She's looking to expand her work. So in this particular challenge lesson, she had trouble thinking of what to post because her podcast is activism, advocacy, and culturally focused. So her question is, how would you suggest going about navigating LinkedIn when your niche isn't business or service-minded? And Natalie, I'd really focus on framing your stories with your goal in mind. So one of the challenges I gave in the prep work for this was to think about your end goal. And for you, it sounds like you want more podcast listeners. So one of the things that I would suggest is think about why someone on LinkedIn would listen to your podcast. They don't have to have a service-based business. They don't have to be in that niche, but why would they listen to it? So a few different people that come to mind that you may want to look at are diversity and inclusion experts. And I think it's because they could be amplifiers for your podcast's message. They could be your advocates, making sure that the people they are connected with are listening to your show, especially in where you are. You can look at specific corporations or organizations that align with your podcast's mission and start connecting with those people, because those are the right people who can champion the context of your podcast episodes. And I think they'll be really great to maximize your podcast message. So Natalie also asks here, I think this is the same Natalie, she just posted the same thing here. Okay, cool. How would you suggest going about this? Yeah, Natalie, awesome. So Natalie, really focusing in on the people who would be champions of your podcast. So diversity and inclusion experts, organizations, other people in the same space who may not have podcasts. So maybe there is an influencer who gives talks, but they don't have a podcast. Wouldn't that be a great expert to either have on your show or to be able to share your podcast with their networks? I think those are such great connections for you to try to cultivate through LinkedIn. Okay, great, cool. Great question, Natalie. Next, we have Danielle. Danielle's asking, do you know the limit on how many connection requests you can make per day? Danielle, this is a great question. They're changing this all the time. And the reason being is that there are different paid tiers on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has other options. You can upgrade to be like a sales pro or upgrade to a premium account. And you can do that. And in those upgrades, you actually get more connections. But they're changing this all the time. So I don't want to put a minimum out there and have you say, oh, I tried it. It didn't work for me. I believe it's 10. But like I said, they're changing it all the time. I'm actually going to look it up now because, like I said, they're always changing it. So with your free account, it looks like you can get 5 in mail. Oh, that's the premium account. They don't really make it easy to find out. So if you're looking at second connection requests, here's my advice. Go for quality people and don't worry about the quantity. Most of the students in the Savvy Social School are looking to make a handful a day, 2 to 3 connections a day. Okay? We're going for quality here and not quantity. And we're going for the long game. So we're not going in on a Saturday and doing as many connection requests as we possibly can. First of all, LinkedIn won't let you do that because they don't want people to use the platform that way. They want you to log in every day, and they want you to do other things other than connection requests. Okay, I'm going to wipe my nose again. Sorry, guys. So they want you to do other things outside of connection requests. So I wouldn't be too tuned in to the overall quantity. I would look for quality people that you connect with every day, 2 to 3, maybe 5, and move on from there, okay? Now, there is a maximum amount, and I think someone asked this later, there is a maximum amount of people that you can send requests to if they do not accept it. So at some point, LinkedIn will give you a message and say, hey, you've sent too many connection requests that someone hasn't accepted. I want to say the number is like 200 or something like that, where, you know, you've asked to request to all these people and they didn't say yes. So that's why I really say focus on the quantity. Now, I'll give you an example of a client that we do this for. We have a few clients, Linda Talifero, Victor Adefiye, Katie Mulligan. We've got clients that we're actively doing this strategy for, and we've never reached the limit that LinkedIn has set, because we spend the time looking at their profile, making sure it's the right person, sending a message if it fits. You know, we want them to say yes to that connection request, because as soon as they say yes, now they're seeing our content in their LinkedIn feeds, and they're more likely to build up some trust with us as they start participating in our world, okay? As they start liking our posts and commenting on them and all of that good stuff. Awesome. Really great question. Jen asks, in the invite, the characters are very limited. So when I taught the direct message formula, was I referring to after their connection? You only say direct message first degree connections. Yes. So I gave you an example of how I would reach out to someone, but I also want to emphasize that most of my messaging actually comes through people that I know, and that's where this strategy works the best. So yes, you can send a little note with someone as you're connecting with them, but I don't go too deep in that note, okay? That's not, you know, a date. This is like, hey, can I get your number? Like, if we're using the dating analogy, it's like, hey girl, I see you over there. Like, we're not going into my full life story about why I think they're a perfect fit. That's too much. That's too aggressive. So we're just kind of, you know, making eye contact, giving the number. Maybe you'll text them later, okay? So think of it that way. And then as you start seeing their posts, seeing them like and comment, you know, you're building up a relationship with them, then you can try sending a direct message. That's when they work the best. Honestly, when I send direct messages, it's typically, you know, if I first connect with someone and they message me first, then I can start a conversation. Or if I see them like or comment on my post a few times, then I may send them a message to be like, hey, let's be connected. Or if I see a post of theirs pop up in the feed and I go, this is an interesting topic, let's hop on a coffee chat. Like, those are when direct messages convert the best. Because we have some rapport, we've built up a relationship, we've got a little thing going on, so we can, you know, take it to the next level. So think about the dating analogy. I think that'll really help people understand when and where to direct message. But to clarify, the formula that I gave in our last day of the challenge was really focused on someone who you've made a connection with already. Okay, Holly asks, Holly made this comment on a post that I wanted to talk about. She said, I follow a lot of chef connections in the food industry, and she's in a different industry now. So she said, should I unfollow all of those people because she's in a totally different industry now? And Holly, I think you're on here live. Yes, Holly, I see you asked, and you asked a follow-up question, should you clean up your profile before starting the family and launching your business? Holly, can you let me know what you do now again, just so that I can remember? I'm trying to pull it from like my mind palace, and it's not coming to me. But just as a general rule of thumb, I'd say no, keep your current connections, because you never know who they know. You never know who they know. I'll give an example. In university, I was a theater minor, so a lot of my friends were in the theater world, so Shakespeare, plays, and such, and television. So when I started transitioning to be a social media strategist, I kept all of my relationships, and they're still my LinkedIn connections, my Facebook connections. And actually, when I was running this LinkedIn challenge, one of my theater connections reached out to me because she needs to clean up her LinkedIn page and she wanted my advice. So we've been connected for 6 years before she reached out to me. She saw me posting for 6 years before she reached out for help. So you never know where people are in their journey. Even Hollywood people who are in the food industry, they may know someone who can use this. Oh yes, the mobile scorekeeping. Oh yes, because this one was really interesting. So let's say that they're starting a basketball team for their child, and they could possibly use what you offer, but they wouldn't know it existed because they aren't connected with you on LinkedIn, or you removed their connection. So what I'm saying is, you never know who someone knows. You never know where they are. You never know what they need, and you could be that person. And I would say let them opt out if they really want to opt out. And that happens all the time. Someone may like your Facebook page or follow you on LinkedIn today, but 2 years later, they go, this isn't relevant to me, and they'll unlike it. That's fine. It happens all the time. It's normal. It's a normal part of life. It's a normal part of the process. So yeah, I would not clear them out. Maybe do an introductory post about your transition. Some people find that to be comfortable for them. So find what feels comfortable for you, and maybe share about why you're going to be doing this, what people can expect from your posts coming up, and so on and so forth. The great thing about LinkedIn is that you don't have to post as much as other platforms. So I found a post that I wrote, 2 weeks ago is still getting likes and comments, whereas on Facebook or Instagram, if I wrote it 2 weeks ago, it's dead within 12 hours. So LinkedIn posts can live a lot longer, so maybe go ahead and post that now and then let it fester and let it live there. Awesome. All right. For those of you who are watching live, just a quick reminder, drop your questions in the chat. And we're moving on. I'm moving on now to questions that are in the chat. I asked all the questions that came in beforehand. So this is your time to shine for the chat questions. And I'm just going to make sure that there's no questions in our training portal as well that I may have missed because there was the issue streaming live there. Keith has a question here. Keith says, is there a way to not have or block certain people from seeing your posts and updates? He made the mistake of connecting with someone from his old job, and now that he's on his own in the same industry and really a competitor, he'd prefer not to stir up problems. Keith, I would say this comes back to a bit of a mindset issue with how people approach you on social media, and I think this kind of relates to what Holly was saying about we assume that we're stirring something up. We assume that people don't want to see our posts if they're a competitor. We assume so many things that we don't know, and it's really us projecting our own fears onto that other person. So, Keith, I would say don't worry about it. If you want to block them if they become an issue, then absolutely go for it. But if they're just a passive observer, unfortunately, in the online space, showing up online in this way, you're going to get a lot of people like this. Okay, there's a lot of people who are going to sign up to your email list, follow you on social media, do all of these things because they're curious and they're competitors. That happens all the time. There's nothing we can do about it. Now, if you want to completely block someone, you can. The functionality is not the same as Facebook. So on Facebook, you can actually post to certain people or remove certain people from seeing your posts. On LinkedIn, they don't have that capability. So you don't have a way to just have him not see your posts. If he followed you and connected with you, he's going to see your posts. Now, you can unfollow him and remove that connection, and he won't see your posts unless he goes looking for them. So your posts are live anyway, so he can go looking for them and see them. Now, if you don't want him to be able to look for them at all, you can block that person, and how it looks to the casual observer is that you just disappeared off LinkedIn. They go to search for your name, it's just going to say there's no profile with this name. So you can absolutely do that. All right, cool. So Danielle has a follow-up question here. Danielle asks, when should I post again? Her post this week is still getting attention, and she knows it's good to post, but she doesn't want to get lost if we're making another post. And then she said a follow-up, the post that she did is a blog that lists the best national parks podcasts listened to in 2020, and her podcast is number 2. Congratulations, by the way, Danielle. Huge accomplishment. One of the things that I suggest in the LinkedIn course is to start off with 1 post a week. You can do less than that, and you can do more than that. But I find that the consistency in posting once a week on LinkedIn really helps you develop your craft. So this is a lot like any skill that you're going to learn. Right now, I'm learning how to play the piano. And I've actually took lessons when I was younger, and I'm really bad at it. But the only way for me to get better at playing the piano is actually to practice frequently. So my tendency with the piano is to try to jump on maybe once a month and learn as much as I can, and then I don't touch it for another month. And it's really hard to make progress that way. The best way, and I know this, with the piano, with LinkedIn, with anything that you're learning as a skill, is actually better to spend 15 minutes a day than try to spend 4 hours on a Saturday learning it. So Danielle, I would recommend looking at how you can create content once a week, and then spend the rest of the time that week looking at how you can build up your connections, exploring that option. Okay, awesome. All right, Kimberly. Kimberly's up next. Kimberly had a question about, I didn't make a note of this, Kimberly, but I remember we had a chat about it, about how you can find people on LinkedIn. So Kimberly is a graphic designer, and she provides branding and marketing solutions for local businesses, and she was running into this challenge of not finding the right people to connect with. So Kimberly, I have a few follow-up questions for you if you're on live. I'd love to learn more about who your perfect person is, because looking at your profile, it's still a little general. You've got, the logos that you design, you do startup companies, people who want to make a difference. So Kimberly, you may want to look at people you can collaborate with first. And I think your question was about your post and posting if you're new into the space. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about those 2 things. So first off, if you're a graphic designer looking for people to connect with, look for people who are in parallel industries as you. So if I would start looking at agencies, video marketing agencies, PR agencies, because their clients are your clients. So if someone's going to hire someone to say, do video marketing for them, they may also need someone to do some logos for them. Or let's say someone's going to hire a business coach, and they know that they're creating their business plan, so they may also need to get some graphic design. But even in a broader context, Kimberly, you can look at the people who are looking to start their businesses, because you're looking for startup companies. So start looking for organizations and individuals who help grow startup companies. So maybe there are sales professionals who help teach budding entrepreneurs how to build their business. Or maybe it's some sort of incubator that's local that helps people build their startup companies. So I think that's a really great place to look when it comes to finding those connections for building out your LinkedIn profile. The other thing I'd recommend, Kimberly, is as far as your post goes, if you're getting stuck and you're trying to figure out what to post, like what your first post should be, and you're new, I really focus in on why are you doing this? Why did you start? What is something that inspires you with this whole process? How can you transform someone's business? Give it an example. Even if it's just a story of an example, it's not a real example. You could say that. You could say, what if there was someone who is starting their company and they decided to make their logo themselves and they didn't get business because they made their logo themselves and it doesn't look as good. So person A made their logo themselves, person B hired a designer, and they're able to present their product in a way that actually helps transform because they hired you. So think about how you can use storytelling to craft that first post, even if you don't have any experience or even if you're new. Awesome. Okay, just a quick reminder, drop your questions in the chat. We are close to wrapping up here and close to announcing our prize winners. I just want to make sure we covered all of our questions today. I see Natalie's question, yes. Holly's question, yes, we did. Danielle's, we did. Danielle. Emily. Okay, Emily Brown. How long will the challenge be available? Emily, the challenge content will be available for the next 7 days, and then it goes into the vault. It will be available forever for Savvy Social School members. So you've got about a week to get that going. This is a great time to talk about the Savvy Social School. Actually, I wanted to show you guys something in one of the communities that I'm in. Somebody posted this and tagged me about their success for the challenge, so I just wanted to show you this because I think this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And let me see if I can just share this window here with you guys, because I think that will be easier to see. There we go. Okay, let me also take off my beautiful design on the side here because it's blocking the challenge. Cool. Okay, this is Julia. Julia's in the challenge. She's a Facebook ad strategist. And she said, going into the challenge, we're in a community together. She kept up with it. She changed her banner. And on the first day that she changed her banner, an old acquaintance reached out to her about running Facebook ads. And she sent them a proposal. I feel like this is one of the coolest parts of the challenge. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to find the chat here. Let me go back. Anyways, I think this is one of the coolest parts of the challenge is that we have the unique opportunity to connect with like some pretty cool people on LinkedIn without having to do much. All she did was change her banner, which is amazing. So yeah, okay, we're on the right screen. Cool. All right, so Julia rocking it. I also wanted to show a few other examples of people in the school who have done well with this. So you don't really need to have Facebook ads to do this. I showed Julia, that's her business, that's her service. But she didn't get this person from an ad. She got it from the LinkedIn banner. You don't need to spend tons of time on this. As I mentioned, 1 post a week, spending 10 to 15 minutes a day. I feel like out of all the platforms, this is the one where you get like the best bang for your buck. And you don't have to be really selly or spammy on LinkedIn as well. So I want to talk a bit about the results that you can get when you're like super focused on social media. So this is Neil. He's one of my clients. He is a therapist. He's a podcaster. He talks to parents about parental burnout. Some of you guys know Neil. You've seen him around. And when I first met him 3 years ago, he had 0 followers, 0 email lists, 0 authority. And now he is in the podcasting space making a name for himself with this idea of parental burnout. He gets about 5,000 people a month listening to his show. His email list is growing. His social presence is buzzing. And this is all just from organic social media. We do run a few ads now, but mostly organic. which is a lot of fun. So just some of the results that he's gotten on social media. And so I want to take a moment to show you about the Savvy Social School because it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun in there. I just want to talk about a few things that you can get in the school, some done for you posts, some templates, checklists, courses, live masterclasses, group coaching calls, which is actually a lot like this live session that we're on right now. We have a community and so much more. And so this is what Jessica said when she joined the school and Ginger followed up. Jessica was like, whoa, I just logged in and it's awesome. And there's a lot in there, you guys. We've got a whole course on LinkedIn. We've got the live master classes that we've been doing for over a year and a half. Our coaching calls are all recorded in there, plus everything I'm adding in every month. Here's one review from one of the students. She said she's in the beginning stages of launching her business on social media. Being enrolled in the Savvy Social School, she was nervous and stuck about finding the perfect strategy to launch her candle business. So product-based business, you guys. I know you had a lot of questions about that, and we helped coach her through this through the school. So now she's launched on Instagram, she's confident, and she feels like she has a place to ask her additional questions. And I think that's really, really important. So one of the things I want to offer to those of you who want to join the school right now is I want to offer a 1-hour strategy session. I only can do 5 of these. I can't do them all. I did this recently internally in the school, and my online business manager was like, Andrea, you're running out of time. I was like, I know, but I love doing these. So I'm offering a 1-hour free consultation call only to 5 people. I actually already have 2 people who've signed up because of this challenge. So really there's only 3 left. Jen is one of those people who signed up already. You've seen her name pop up in the group. So she gets one of these consultation calls. So only 5 of them available, but I want to offer it to you guys because I see an opportunity for growth, and some of you have really specific questions about what that looks like. And so I want to get on a call with you and walk through that. But that's all that comes in the school. Like I said, you get the courses, which are about $97 each. Some of them more, like $297. You get some group coaching calls. Our next one is, I believe, January 30th, and we're talking all about LinkedIn as well. The Done For You posts are fun, so you just download and post them. So if you do get stuck, I have a lot of prompts along the way. And even just this year, we started doing content calendars. So I give you prompts for each day of the year. So you should never run out of content again. So right now the price is $57. I will be raising it to $97. Like I said, my business manager was like, Andrea, you're spending a lot of time on this. So I was like, I know, I love it. So we will be raising the price at the end of the year. So if you join now, it's $57 a month and it's locked in. Now there's no commitment here. It's month to month. Like if you want to join, just do the LinkedIn course and then leave, you could do that. People do that all the time. But really where you find the value is the continuous coaching. Like that was Ariane who said that earlier, where she figured out LinkedIn for her product, but she also feels like she has a place to go when things change. Or sorry, she figured out Instagram for her product. And so Instagram, always changing. She needs some support along the way, so she's in the school. This is what, I can't remember who said, I think this was Jamie Buckley who said he got a 3-year art deal after he started implementing some of the things we talk about in the school. So he already saw value from this just by participating and showing up, and his primary platform is Instagram. So he actually planned out a year worth of Instagram content based on the strategies that I taught in the school, which is super epic, I thought. It's pretty cool. Okay, cool. So like I said, $57 a month, one-on-one sessions, only 5 available. I actually should change that to only 3 available for that because I only have one. I'm only one person. All right, back to the camera mode and over to your questions. So Danielle asks, will I still be responding to comments in the challenge over the next week? Danielle, yes, I'm going to try to pop in. My time is committed to the Savvy Social School. So I'm going in there as I can. But depending on how many students join the school, they're my first priority. We've got our private Facebook group. You guys can ask questions in there. But that's where my time is going. I will try to go back through and answer a lot of the questions that are in there as they pop up. Allison, hey, can't wait to see your talk next week. Yes. Allison, the talk will be a lot like the challenge. So you can kind of get a head start with some of the challenge aspects and elements. But we're going to do some Q&A, which should be fun. And I'm going to talk about a few different things with LinkedIn in the live session. So Allison is local to me, which is fun to have like a local person that I know, because all of you guys are virtual. Okay, Keith says you're in. Where do you sign up? Keith, the link is savvysocialschool.com. I'm dropping it in the chat again. Savvysocialschool.com. If anyone's in the chat and they want to pop that link in for Keith as well, that would be great. Yeah, if you sign up now, you sign up and you get one of the 3 coaching calls. Yeah, so I'm basing it on who signs up. So let me actually take a look right now and see how many we have available, because I just want to make sure that this is accurate for you guys. Okay, so I'm looking. Okay, I see Jen and Danae. Jen and Danae, you are in. You have your sessions. I will reach out to you. Those are the 2 people who already booked. Haven't seen anyone else sign up yet, so there's 3 spots available. Jen and Danae took the other 2. There's 3 more coaching calls, and it's first come, first serve. So whoever signs up during the challenge, I can just see what date you signed up. But Jen and Danae have already signed up, so I'll reach out to them for their coaching calls. Anyone else, if you want to sign up, it's savvysocialschool.com, and I'll see you in there. Danielle asked about Pinterest and YouTube. So funny thing about Pinterest and YouTube is that they're very search-based. So right now, the content in the school is for the more social of the social media channels. That being said, we have a Pinterest expert coming in next month. She's already booked for February 11th. For those of you in the school, I just emailed this out yesterday, which we're really excited about. So she's going to teach us Pinterest. So I've got an expert coming in for that. YouTube has been a highly requested item. I'm testing out a few things right now and finalizing that course. But I've got to update the Facebook course first, because of course Facebook looks different now. So I'm always updating things. And then Pinterest, we may add some additional content. But the best part is the coaching calls and the community. So even if I don't have content specifically made for that, I can make it. I want to get to the giveaways in a second, but I want to show you this in the school. Let me see if I can. Uh-oh. Okay. Yay, Keith's in. Awesome, Keith. So there's 2 left. Keith's got the one of them. Grabbed one of them. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, we're looking at the school now. Great. So, Savvy Social School. So here's the courses we've got now. Instagram, LinkedIn. It's showing my progress because I'm logged in as me. Social report, we've got master classes on specific things. Like if you run a membership site, I've got a masterclass specifically about how to do that. Here's the done for you posts and the content calendars. We've got a lot of those. Our coaching call recordings. But I wanted to show you the tech vault. So you had a question specifically about YouTube and Pinterest. So I do add things here, and it's based on what the members ask. So someone asked, how do I upload a pin? I made a little video for that. So it's really based on what you need. Specific things about Facebook or some general topics. But I want to show you, while you guys are here, the LinkedIn course. So like I said, I basically taught about 5% of what's in LinkedIn, but this is the full course on LinkedIn. So you can learn different things like a posting strategy, or how to write an article, or how to do videos, or how to actually grow. I showed you a little bit about that, but this is a whole module in here. I've got a whole section on company pages, some advanced tactics, some updates, because we'll keep updating it, and so much more. So that's the LinkedIn course. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that really quickly. And okay, I want to go back to my slides because I want to announce the winners. Oh, hold on. I'm getting a notification. Okay, I'm going to turn on my video, make sure I can see what you guys are commenting. Okay, Danielle signed up. Good, awesome. So Danielle will get the one-on-one call, and then Keith will get it. And then we've got Jen and Danae. So one more is left. Wow, that went fast. I didn't realize how fast you guys would sign up. You guys are awesome. Okay, so prizes. There's a few things. I've got some swag prizes to give away, and then I just have a goodie for you guys for participating in the challenge, which I'm excited about because you guys are kind of cool. Like, you guys blew my mind in this challenge. I'm so proud of how far you guys have come. Okay, so I picked the winners randomly, semi-randomly, before. So one of these people is already in the school, and two are not. And it was just based on people who commented every day. So the winners are, hold on, I gotta change my screen again. Do you guys ever have the too many tabs problem? All right, here we go. Mark, Shakira, and Danae. Oh, Danae did join the school. She must have just joined after I did this. You guys have won some swag. So you get to choose between t-shirts, buttons, or notebooks. Actually, let me see if I have I should have brought them out. Ah, silly me. I didn't think to bring them out. Anyways, you guys won swag. Thank you so much for participating. And then for anyone who has participated in general with the challenge, tomorrow I'm just going to email out the LinkedIn prompt calendar and the LinkedIn direct message swipe file. These are two bonuses that are in the school already, but I want to kind of share them with anybody who participated in the challenge as well, just as a bonus, as a thank you for showing up and for participating, because I was absolutely blown away by all of the amazing results in the challenge. You guys are awesome. You are so smart. Like I said, I feel like I want to hire a number of you because I was like, man, these are some really smart people in here. So yeah, there we go. Mark, Shakira, Danae, you have won. Reach out to me via email, and if I'll probably have my assistant reach out to you guys as well, just to make sure you guys get your prizes. And then you can expect an email from me later with your prompt calendar and your direct message swipe files, just as a thank you for participating in the challenge, because I know you gave up your time to participate, you gave up your time to be here with me today, and I want to give back to you guys in that way. Awesome. This has been great. We've got a few more minutes for questions. I will hang out for a few more minutes if you guys want, or we can end this thing a little bit early. While I've got you on the call, I did also want to ask your feedback for those of you who are still here. What's one thing you liked about the challenge, and what's one way I can improve next year? Because I do this challenge every year, and actually Mark gave me some really good feedback this year about one of the courses about posting, and I went in and fixed that. But is there anything else that you guys would love to see in the challenge the next time I do it, or any just general feedback that you have about the challenge? Did you find it helpful? Did you want more, less? Was it too much, not enough? I'd love to kind of get your feedback here. I'm going to put my frame back on the screen because it's pretty. Do you guys want to know how to do this? Maybe I should make a course on this in the community Savvy Social School. But anyways, okay, let me, oh, too many tabs again. We'll go back. Okay, I haven't seen anything else come in, so I'm going to assume you guys are gravy. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. So excited for what's to come for you in the future. Stay tuned because we've got a lot of amazing free content coming up, as well as content in the Savvy Social School. And I hope you have a fantastic day. And Holly says she loved the challenge. She sent the link to some of her friends. Yeah, try it to your husband's profile. Yeah. Oh, remote dev work. I mean, that's perfect for LinkedIn. He really should be on LinkedIn. Get him in there. Get him in the challenge. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you later. Bye for now. I love you guys.